toward Highway 61. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 5 o'clock in the Heartland.
Fox News, I'm Tom Rigotti. After President Biden called on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to work harder at coming to a ceasefire deal with Hamas following the execution of 6 hostages in Gaza, White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says the president has been very clear about where negotiations stand.
Make no mistake about it, Hamas leaders are going to pay for these crimes. And he and his team, for sure, will keep working around the clock to get this hostage deal done.
Netanyahu is pushing back on the president, saying there should be more pressure on the terror group. On the first day of classes, anti-Israel protest at Columbia University. Fox's Alexis McAdams is in New York.
The university here, the Ivy League school, promised those parents and Jewish students they were going to make big changes. But on day one, that didn't happen. And Jewish students tell me they don't feel safe still.
2 demonstrators have been arrested so far. America's listening to Fox News.
If you're a proud American, that means if someone comes after your family, you gotta be ready. That's why you need the Mega 3-Month Emergency Food Kit from My Patriot Supply. Their Mega 3-Month Emergency Food Kit comes jam-packed with 33 varieties of filling and flavorful meals. Not only does that include creamy chicken-flavored rice, old-fashioned Italian spaghetti, and savory cheesy broccoli soup, but you'll also get a bonus protein kit with diced beef, flavorful chicken chunks, and 3 varieties of beans. The Emergency Food Kit provides a whopping 2,500 calories per day to keep you well fed and ready for anything. It's your solemn duty as an American to protect your family without waiting for handouts. And that starts with emergency food that you can depend on. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now to save $300 on your Mega 3-Month Emergency Food Kit. My Patriot Supply offers free shipping, too. Get your Mega 3-Month Emergency Food Kit now at MyPatriotSupply.com.
Hey everybody, this is Sarge.
And this is the Burgundy.
You're on Newswatch Late Edition on News Radio KYRO.
Stay tuned. Coming up at 18 after, we'll be back with all of East Central Missouri's news of the day on Newswatch Late Edition.
Missouri Net News, I'm Anthony Morabith. Missouri is taking another step to help schools prepare for the worst and keep students safe. The Missouri School Boards Association Center for Education Safety is offering threat assessment training to school employees to help them determine the credibility and seriousness of potential violence. John McDonald, the center's chief operating officer, says a threat assessment team can be brought in to give hope and help to students in need.
A lot of times when we do threat assessments, we have parents that tell us, we didn't know where else to turn. We didn't know what to do. Well, sometimes that threat assessment group can be that help and support that provides that guidance to families and gets the student in a much better place.
The U.S. Postal Service is weighing a plan to reorganize mail processing that would speed up delivery for people within 50 miles of major processing centers, but it would also mean rural residents would likely wait an extra 24 hours for their mail to arrive. Democratic Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, who represents the Kansas City area in the U.S. House, does not support the plan and doubts the Postal Service's ability to deliver the mail faster.
We get phone calls, not every day, maybe not even every week, complaining because the post office is out of, believe it or not, stamps. Something has gone badly awry.
At least 6 people died in traffic crashes in Missouri during the Labor Day holiday period, according to the State Highway Patrol. The deaths include one that claimed the life of the Osage Beach police officer Felicia Carson, who died in the line of duty during a chase just after midnight Saturday morning. Compensation available for DirecTV subscribers frustrated by the loss of ESPN and Disney-owned channels. The company is offering credits of at least $20 to customers, but you'll have to go to a special websites and apply for it using the account email where the credit will show up on a future bill. The outage affects millions of college and pro football fans as both seasons get underway. This is Missouri Net.
Have you lost Mo Health Net? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey there, I'm Lance Bass, and this is Chip. And for more than 100 years, American Humane has been protecting animals in times of crisis. And if you're like me, your pet means the world to you, and you want to keep them safe if disaster strikes. American Humane's first responders are always prepared to rescue animals in danger, but you can also help. To learn more about disaster planning and keeping your animals safe, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Medical innovation could benefit Americans who fear getting needle-based shots. Researchers at Washington University in St. Louis have developed a nasal vaccine that can block the transmission of the COVID-19 virus. Dr. Jocko Boone discovered that vaccines delivered to the nose or mouth could contain the spread of virus particles.
By reducing the titer 100 to 1,000-fold, we're much less likely to be severely ill. It may just be a subclinical infection.
Military buffs will get the opportunity to fly in a Vietnam-era Huey helicopter this week in the Kansas City region. Visit Friends of the Army Aviation website for more details. A fire destroyed a Poplar Bluff dry cleaning business on Monday. No injuries were reported, but firefighters were able to recover an American flag from the business, miraculously untouched by the fire. The fire is not considered suspicious. Find more news online at MissouriNet.com. This is MissouriNet.
The Wrecking Crew. What do you guys do here?
We recycle. Our typical business is picking up stuff that nobody else can get.
People may have a lot of money laying in their property and they just don't realize it.
They do. A lot of money sometimes, and not where you would think it would be.
Where are you located?
Troy, Winfield, Vandalia, Missouri. And we do boxes, trailers. We cut stuff up on site. We do insurance work. Farmers, if you have a burnt building or wind damaged building or grain bin, that's our specialty.
How do they get a hold of you?
Call me personally or call the office.
The Wrecking Crew. 636-462-1727.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major average is sinking and suffering their worst day since early August as worries about the health of the economy reemerged following a report that showed that U.S. manufacturing activity shrank again in August. Shares of AI darling NVIDIA falling 9.5% and shedding nearly $279 billion in market value, a record one-day fall for any U.S. company. The Dow falling 626 points, the NASDAQ lower by 577, S&P 500 down 119. Shares of Intel fell nearly 9%. A report from Reuters said that the stock was at risk of losing its place in the Dow, and Reuters also reported that CEO Pat Gelsinger and key executives would be meeting with the chipmaker's board later this month to present a plan to slash costs and shed certain businesses. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
In theaters now, Reagan returns to office.
We are the greatest country in the world. We have just forgotten it.
You can run from a bully for so long, but after a while, you're going to have to stand up to him. I am about to start the biggest war of this century.
You told me you wanted to make a difference in this world.
What would you have me do?
I want you to fight.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Reagan in theaters now. Rated PG-13. May not be.
You know, a lot of people have boats, RVs, horse trailers, all kinds of things. Have you ever thought about insuring them? Well, if you haven't, then you should. Safe Harbor Insurance. Over in Winfield. Look them up on Facebook at Safe Harbor Insurance or give them a call at 668-6296. They're brokers, so they can save you money, protect your boat, RV, whatever it is you have. Safe Harbor Insurance. Give them a call at 636-668-6296 and see how much money Dave and Holly can save you.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
Trent Williams has ended his holdout with the 49ers. The All-Pro tackle reporting today, as reports say, he got a 3-year, $82.66 million deal. The 49ers gave him a $25.6 million signing bonus, according to reports, and he'll get $48 million guaranteed at signing. Niners also got good news that running back Christian McCaffrey was able to practice today. He'd been dealing with a calf strain. The Steelers signed defensive lineman Cam Hayward to a 3-year deal worth $45 million. Hayward gets $16 million guaranteed, while Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin says today that he's optimistic running back Jaylen Warren will be able to play against the Falcons on Sunday despite dealing with a hamstring injury. At the U.S. Open, on the men's side of things, 12th-seeded American Taylor Fritz upset 4th seed Alexander Zverev today in 4 sets to advance advanced to the semifinals. On the women's side, American Emma Navarro onto the semis with a straight sets win.
It's 5:10 in East Central Missouri, and you're on the Newswatch PM edition. Traffic and weather together on the 10s starts right now.
East Central Missouri's News Radio KYRO. Depend on it.
News Radio KYRO traffic. Happy Labor Day. The roadways themselves are trouble-free. Not too bad on I-70. You're trouble-free on I-64 as well as you head eastbound. That is trouble-free as you head down from I-70 as you make your way toward Weldon Spring toward Highway 94. And no major issues at this point on I-70. That's incident-free as you pass by I-64. There are no major issues in toward the long-term work zone at Highway 79. Beyond all of that, you're up to speed and wide open as you continue in toward the St. Louis area. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 55 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the upper 80s. Sky is clear likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy it's 76. In Warrenton it's 74 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
The Moscow Mills Lions Club invites you every second Sunday of the month, 7:30 to noon. All-you-can-eat breakfast, $12 adults, kids 6 to 11, 6, and children under 6 eat free. Sunday breakfast, 30 Friese Industrial Drive in Moscow Mills.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for road trips. We're for covering as much ground as possible on 2, 4, or 18 wheels. We're for drop tops, T-tops, classics, cruisers, pickup trucks, and dump trucks. We're for displaying Missouri plates like medals and pride. Have you ever hit a deer? Yep, we're for you too. We're for getting stuck behind a tractor on a 2-lane highway. And if you're a Missouri driver, we have an auto policy for you.
Call Sandy Turner at 107B North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-528-8443. The very latest ag news from the Brownfield Network, brought to you this hour by the Wrecking Crew in Troy, Winfield, and Vandalia. Call 636-462-1727.
Soybeans, corn, cattle, and hogs were higher Tuesday. I'm John Perkins with a Brownfield Market Update. For decades, Stein has represented simply the best in corn genetics, offering more than 50 lines of the highest performing corn featuring a broad range of traits. Stein has yield. Soybeans are higher on fund and technical buying, expecting recent warm, dry weather in much of the region to have at least some impact on yields. China did buy 132,000 tons of new crop U.S. soybeans Tuesday morning. November beans were up 12 at 10.12, and January was 12.5 higher at 10.29.5. October bean meal was up $7.30 at 317.40. October soybean oil is down 105 points at 41.48. Corn was higher, continuing to monitor late development conditions and early harvest activity. First crop plantings underway in Brazil, about 8% complete, while Argentina's corn planted area could be down sharply on the year. December corn was 8 1/4 higher at 409 1/4, and March was up 8 1/4 at 427 1/4. And wheat was higher on fund and technical buying, a little bit oversold, and there is talk that Ukraine will limit wheat exports. That and smaller crops in Russia and Europe could boost export demand for U.S. supplies. December Chicago was 15 1/4 higher at 566 3/4. December Kansas City was up 11 at 576 1/4. December Minneapolis wheat was 6 3/4 higher Tuesday at 607 1/4. Live and feeder cattle were higher, watching the distribution of this week's show list with box beef up at midday. Megan Grebner has more on direct cash cattle business in a moment. October live was up 67 at 179.27. December was $1.30 higher at 178.85. October feeders were up 157 at 239.32. And with pork higher at midday on Tuesday, October hogs were up 30 at 82.52. December lean was $1.02 higher at 73.80. Megan Grebner will have that full look at the cash livestock markets coming up after this brief break.
Lower costs, improve efficiency, increase yields. That's how MFA's NutriTrack program can benefit your farm. NutriTrack Precision Technology helps manage soil nutrients acre by acre, providing the information you need to make data-driven decisions. Grid sampling, zone maps, and variable rate application can put more fertilizer where you need it and less where you don't. It's an investment that can make a big difference through more production and more profit. See your fields in a whole new way with NutriTrack, only from MFA, your whole farm solution.
Have you ever met a nematode?
Probably not. But this sneaky ingrate and its billions of friends steal soybean yields right out from under your nose. Nematodes cause up to $1.5 billion in soybean revenue loss each year. And if that's not enough, they also amplify sudden death syndrome. Why? Because they're microscopic good-for-nothing thieves, that's why. Take action against these yield-stealing jerks with Allevo soybean seed treatment from BASF, the only proven winner against both SEN and SDS. And remember to always read and follow label directions.
Direct cash cattle trade activity was quiet Monday. Bids and asking prices didn't surface. Show lists this week are mixed, higher in Nebraska and Colorado, but lower in Kansas and Texas. Significant trade volume will likely hold out until the latter half of the week. Box beef closed higher on good demand from moderate offerings. Choice up $1.33 at $310.67. Select closed $4.29 higher at $300.11. Estimated cattle slaughter was 125,000 head, up 7,000 on the week and down about 3,500 on the year. Cash hog prices were delayed all day due to packer submission problems. With the holiday shortened week, look for processors to start more aggressive in their procurement efforts. Pork values closed higher, up $1.59 at $98.82. Hams, ribs, bellies, picnics, loins, and butts were all higher. And the estimated hog slaughter was 484,000 head. That's up 5,000 on the week and up more than 11,000 on the year. I'm Megan Grebner for Brownfield.
The Lincoln County Farmers Market is open the first Saturday of March all the way through the first Saturday of November. Everything from goat's milk soap to homemade chocolate zucchini cake, jelly, apple butter, honey, live animals, and produce. Breakfast and lunch served by local food trucks. If you've got a green thumb, check out all the plant vendors. The Lincoln County Farmers Market on the Tractor Supply parking lot in Troy. Open until the first weekend in November. On the Tractor Supply parking lot every Saturday from 8 to 1.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar asks, ever wonder what it would be like to live in an alternate universe? One where everything seems to work just the opposite of the way you'd expect? Well, friends, welcome to the alternate universe of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. The taste is nothing less than outrageously delicious. And Mountain Dew Zero Sugar comes in awesomely exhilarating flavors like Original Dew Zero Sugar, Mountain Dew Spark Zero Sugar, and Mountain Dew Major Melon Zero Sugar. Try the incredible flavors of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Zero Sugar, all dew.
Time now for more automotive wisdom with Jerry Hankey from Alternative Automotive, which is located on Mansion Road. People don't check their oil like they should. I don't know if it's a generational thing or just people don't think about it anymore. Like, it can cause a lot of problems really fast.
This is not even a joke. About 8 out of 10 oil changes a day don't even have oil on the stick, or if it does, it's on the very, very bottom of the stick. It's definitely not in the safe range. We tell every person that comes in, especially with no oil on the stick, first of all, check it. And if you don't want to check it, stop by and we'll check it for free. One of the service writers will come out and be more than happy to check it for you. You don't even have to get dirty. And it's amazing how many people still don't check the oil, and it just destroys engines. There's tons of stuff inside your engine that uses the oil besides the regular mechanical lubrication part. All your variable valve timing, active fuel management for your lifters on your V8 Chevys and Dodges, stuff like that, all uses oil as a hydraulic fluid as well. And if there's none in there, it can cause a lot of check engine lights and other codes as well as mechanical damage to the engine.
Automotive wisdom for your life from Alternative Automotive and Jerry Hankey, located on Mansion Road. Why don't you stop by and see him today?
Beautiful weather on the outside. You're on Newswatch Late Edition. He's Sarge. I'm Burgundy, and here's what's going on right now. Well, yes. We seem to have a bit of a disagreement between the president of our good old United States and the Prime Minister of Israel.
Yeah.
So you've seen the movie Raid on Entebbe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you watch that movie and you understand when you're undertaking a military operation like that, as I know you're well aware, there is always a chance things are going to go bad.
Sure.
So the IDF was moving in, attempting to rescue these 6 hostages, and they saw it, and they killed them.
Yep.
That's, I guess, was Plan Z.
Yeah.
And that's sad and unfortunate. And I feel for those people. Pray for the souls.
Same.
Pray for the souls of the lost and those that remain. But it seems like we've lost focus on who exactly pulled the damn trigger.
Yes.
And shot these people. It wasn't Benjamin Netanyahu.
Absolutely
You can
not.
make arguments all day long that he could be doing more, that he could capitulate or whatever. But you can't argue with the fact of who started this nonsense in the first place.
You can't argue it. You can't. And you know what? It's not just today. It's not just this weekend, but October the 7th. You can't argue it.
Absolutely, and that anniversary is coming up. All right, let's get a check of traffic and weather together coming up here in just a few seconds. It's 5:20 in East Central Missouri.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There's a very heavy backup in towards St. Peter's along the westbound side of I-70, approaching Highway 79 that takes you toward Main Street, and you're crawling very heavy near Lake St. Louis Boulevard as you head toward the interchange with Highway 61. Now, I-64, that's crawling very heavy going westbound as you head around from Winghaven Boulevard around toward the interchange with I-70. There was a previous accident at that point, but that's been cleared out of the roadway, so everything is open. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 55 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the upper 80s. Sky is clear likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy it's 76. In Warrenton it's 74 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground? Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
The question of natural disasters isn't a matter of if, but a matter of when. You see, we live in Missouri and the weather is always changing. We have major ice storms, tornadoes, hail, we have all kinds of things. And it's important to make sure that your home, auto, business, whatever it is that you have is properly insured to protect you from natural disasters. Go and talk to my friends Dave and Holly over at Safe Harbor Insurance. Do what I did and save hundreds of dollars. Give them a call at 636-668-6296 or find them on Facebook.
21 after the hour of 5 o'clock, and you're listening to Newswatch Late Edition. As you heard on the traffic report, there is some backup, so be aware of that. We'll have our next update here in about 10 minutes. In the meantime, we kind of see what we did in like the first 2 minutes. That's called a tease.
That's right.
We teased it. And I've been listening to, news radio all day. Not just this station, but I checked out some other shows as well. And one thing I think that a lot of these commentators could be pointing out is exactly what I said. Now, you can sit there and criticize Netanyahu all day long, but you cannot forget who's actually committing these atrocities.
That's right.
None of this would have happened if Hamas would have stayed on their side of the wall.
Yeah.
And you can make arguments all day long that, I don't know.
Well, another thing that a lot of people keep seemingly forgetting is that Hamas is it's recognized all around the world as a terrorist organization, and it is funded by Iran. And it's just it's funny to me that everybody seems to lose focus of that as well, to include Hezbollah to the north.
Well, and it's not like Hezbollah and Hamas actually really get along all that well. I mean, if they weren't fighting Israel, they'd probably be fighting each other.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is this: between Hezbollah and Hamas, how many Americans they've killed over the years? You can trace Hezbollah back to the embassy bombing in Beirut.
Yes.
There are numerous illustrated examples of atrocities that both of those organizations have done towards Americans, Western states, England, Germany, France, everybody who has been involved in peacekeeping efforts. And of course, it always seems like a bigger deal in the 24-hour news cycle when an American dies, and of course, understandably so. But in my mind, a life is a life, and they're killing indiscriminately. Okay, there has been no separation on the part of both Hezbollah or Hamas for trying to strike military targets only, as the United States does, as Israel does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, the only comparison you can make is the United States has not carpet bombed anybody since World War II.
Yeah.
And they only did that during World War II because they were out of options.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think what it really comes down to more than anything is how much we value human life and how much they don't.
Well, that's very true as well. But another thing that just makes me scratch my head, though, is when it is an American or a dual citizen, in this case of this past weekend, an Israeli and American, we sit on our hands and we do nothing. Nothing.
Why has SEAL Team 6 not gone to Gaza?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we make movies about it. It was a high enough situation or an important enough situation to take out Osama bin Laden,
mm-hmm.
and all these other high-risk missions that they do. You explained to me how we couldn't have dropped a SEAL team in there and got these people out.
Right.
And why it wouldn't be justifiable to do so.
Yeah.
Now, the United States is involved in this conflict on numerous levels.
Mm-hmm.
I just simply don't understand, while there are innocent people being held hostage, we have not done more to try to get them out. It seems like we're trying to pacify everybody.
It's mind-boggling.
So, is this what the United States has characteristically done? No.
No.
I mean, to Jimmy Carter's credit, he at least attempted a mission to get the hostages out, albeit 300 days into it.
Yeah.
And it failed.
Mm-hmm.
There were some Americans who died in attempting that mission, which fell ill because of I guess a sandstorm or something.
Mm-hmm.
Grounded the helicopters when they were going, and by the time they were going, the enemy knew they were going.
Yeah.
So I'm just befuddled.
And I've been through those sandstorms myself, and they're no joke.
No.
They're no joke at all. But
with modern technology, though, with the equipment we have today, yes, they're inconvenient, but we can deal with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just really awestruck by the fact that we have not, and I'm sure we've done things behind the scenes that nobody knows about.
I would hope so.
But I mean, this is what the big intelligence and war-making machine the United States has. This is why we have it.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have it to go in and rescue our own people and hostages, then what the hell are we spending so much money on?
That's a good question as well. That's a very good question that needs to be answered.
Yeah, and that would be if I was sitting in the White House press room and Jean-Pierre was up there basically dodging questions and being an apologist for nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the first question I'm asked.
Yeah, and unfortunately, she's going to say, one of a couple of different things, probably, but either I'll have to get back to you on that, or just bypass the question completely and ignore it and move on to something else.
How can you really do that?
I mean, we keep seeing it, though.
This one is bad. I mean, at least Jen Psaki would work with you a little bit, but this one here, I mean, she'll just clamp down, and there's no answering any questions of any substance.
That's right.
And this is why we have a White House press secretary, is to be able to answer these questions. I could not imagine the task of being in the White House press corps these days. You're trying to ask these questions. You're trying to get substantive answers for the American people who you answer to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like everything is on a need-to-know basis, and we, the American people, just don't need to know.
Yep, and we're getting nothing. We're getting nothing.
At what point do we step in? At what point do we do something that we should have done a year ago?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, in clandestine operations, it's the biggest thing is the sooner you go in and fix the problem, the easier it's going to be to do.
Mm-hmm.
Why there was not an SOF operation within 36 to 48 hours of this happening is beyond me. I mean, obviously the United States has the capability to do those things, and you can't tell me that with the technology that we have, we didn't know exactly where those people were.
Yeah.
I just don't buy it.
Or have a doggone good idea of it. Yeah. Yeah, it just, like I said before, the word that comes to mind is mind-boggling. It really is.
neither one of us worked at SOF, but at the same time, we know what their capabilities are, and we worked around them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I'm at a loss. I really don't understand why this didn't happen 8, 9, 10 months ago.
Yeah.
Or sooner.
I agree. 100%.
The great mysteries of the universe. So, hopefully we can stop being the apologists for Hamas and stop mollycoddling all of these ridiculous protests that are going on around the United States. All right, it is 5:30, 5 o'clock. Time for a traffic and weather update, followed by Fox News on KYRO.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There's a very heavy backup towards St. Peter's along the westbound side of I-70, approaching Highway 79 that takes you toward Main Street. And you're crawling very heavy near Lake St. Louis Boulevard as you head toward the interchange with Highway 61. Now, I-64, that's crawling very heavy going westbound as you head around from Winghaven Boulevard around toward the interchange with I-70. There was a previous accident at that point, but that's been cleared out of the roadway, so everything is open. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy. Getting down to 55 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the upper 80s. Sky is clear likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy it's 75. In Warrenton it's 73 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground. Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. Protests continue in Israel as demonstrators call on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to do more to work out a ceasefire deal with Hamas after the bodies of several hostages were recently discovered.
In the wake of the 6 hostages whose bodies were recovered from Gaza, tens of thousands have been taken to the streets throughout Israel for the past couple of nights. The demonstrations have been both a mix of sadness and outright anger, as many Israelis believe had a ceasefire agreement been reached, those 6 hostages would still be alive.
Fox's Jeff Paul in Tel Aviv, a former aide to New York's governor accused of being a spy.
Linda's son faces charges including visa fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. The 41-year-old accused of using her position as a senior aide to New York Governor Kathy Hochul to serve the Chinese government in exchange for millions of dollars.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin. America is listening to Fox News.
If you're a proud American, that means if someone comes after your family, you gotta be ready. That's why you need the Mega 3-Month Emergency Food Kit from My Patriot Supply. Their Mega 3-Month Emergency Food Kit comes jam-packed with 33 varieties of filling and flavorful meals. Not only does that include creamy chicken-flavored rice, old-fashioned Italian spaghetti, and savory cheesy broccoli soup, but you'll also get a bonus protein kit with diced beef, flavorful chicken chunks, and 3 varieties of beans. The Emergency Food Kit provides a whopping 2,500 calories per day to keep you well fed and ready for anything. It's your solemn duty as an American to protect your family without waiting for handouts. And that starts with emergency food that you can depend on. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now to save $300 on your Mega 3-Month Emergency Food Kit. My Patriot Supply offers free shipping, too. Get your Mega 3-Month Emergency Food Kit now at MyPatriotSupply.com.
9/11 is a time in our nation's history that we'll never forget. Join the Missouri Thunder Veterans Charities in their commemoration of 9/11 Remembrance Day and Ride. This first annual event is Saturday, September 14th at the Lincoln County Fairgrounds in Troy, with all proceeds benefiting first responders in Lincoln County. Local vendors will be on hand and food trucks will be in attendance for a family-friendly day for everyone to remember and celebrate our patriotic and brave first responders. A ride will be led by the Missouri Thunder Veterans Charities for all motorcycles and other vehicles. Music will be provided by Outlaw Sounds and Entertainment. Please, no coolers and no alcohol. That's Saturday, September 14th at the Lincoln County Fairgrounds for the first annual 9/11 Remembrance Day and Ride, sponsored by the Missouri Thunder Veterans Charities.
People's Bank and Trust is helping you get a grip on your finances with our new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills all from the palm of your hand. Visit us online at pbtc.net for more information and to start using mobile banking. People's Bank and Trust, hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, let's jump back into it. 34 minutes after the hour, 5 o'clock. You're on Newswatch Late Edition, live from the Gateway Fiber studios of News Radio KYRO. He's Sarge. I'm Burgundy. This just breaking from Fox News. Terrorist atrocities. The DOJ has unsealed criminal charges against Hamas chief Yahya Sinwar and other leaders of the brutal terrorist organization over the horrific October 7th massacre in Israel. Now, at first glance, you might say, okay, he's being charged in the United States. They would have to bring him to the United States to do whatever they're going to do. But the long arm of justice the United States has in numerous countries around the world that we have extradition with, what this does is this severely limits his ability to travel anywhere.
Yeah.
And the only countries that he's going to be able to go to from this point forward is countries that don't have extradition treaties with the United States. Now, I don't know if you saw this. We did the same thing to Vladimir Putin over Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody made a mistake because he went to Mongolia.
Yeah.
We actually have an extradition treaty with Mongolia. If everybody would have been heads up, they could have snatched him.
Yeah.
And brought him to The Hague to face war crime charges.
Absolutely.
Okay. But this is generally a precursor to mean that there is an operation that's going to take place that they're going to try to snatch him up.
Maybe.
And, so hopefully, obviously, they do, and hopefully he dies in a firefight. But at the same time, you don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Yeah.
But this does limit his ability to travel the world severely.
It does.
Can't come to the UN. Obviously, traveling to the United States would be lunacy on his part.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really go anywhere in Europe.
No.
I think the only country we don't have extradition with, if I'm not mistaken, is Turkey, which is kind of a European country, kind of a Eastern country. But nonetheless, that's kind of a big deal. So I mean, hopefully that'll lead to something happening.
Hopefully something.
And I don't want to harp on this topic, Sarge. It's just, I've been listening to the coverage, really over the weekend and for the past couple of days. And the one thing I find missing, to Sean Hannity's credit, last hour, he did kind of hit on it when he had the president on the air. I'm sorry, the former president, the guy who's running for president, Donald J. Trump. And it was brought up. But I think there needs to be much bigger mention of this, really on every forum, on every level.
Yeah.
That, maybe people have mishandled this, much like we mishandled the withdrawal from Afghanistan, much like, maybe some concessions should be made. But, correct me if I'm wrong, but the state of Israel has had a long-time policy of not negotiating with terrorists.
Isn't that supposed to have been our stance as well?
Well, I think so. But at the same time, if you do it once, you'll be doing it forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have forgotten, not only as the United States, but really pretty much worldwide. I think we have forgotten some of the stalwart principles by which our foreign policy was laid upon.
Yeah.
And that was one of them. You don't negotiate with terrorists.
Mm-mm.
But that's exactly what everybody in the world is wanting this guy to do. And,
Well, what else has got to happen? I mean, what else has got to happen before people start opening up their eyes and realizing, we've got to do something. We've got to do something about taking these people out.
Well, granted, we have to do something, but I think what's going to happen, and I really hate to say this, when do we make policy change? When do we make foreign policy change? When something really bad happens.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm scared of two things, and I don't honestly know which one I'm scared of the most. I'm really afraid that by some accident, this whole thing in this part of the world is going to escalate beyond, we're going to wind up with 30, 40 countries involved. Or there is going to be a large-scale terrorist attack in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe both. Or maybe they could coincide. I don't know. But I'm scared to death of that happening. I mean, the red lights and buzzers over at the FBI are going off nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Ray has said in front of congressional subcommittees that there has never been a time in our nation's history when we have been on more of an alert status for something really bad happening.
Right, and then you go and you look at the last 3.5, almost 4 years of illegals coming across that southern border, and even the northern border too, but mostly that southern border. Out of 11 million, how many of those gotaways are actually part of terrorist cells?
I mean, they could have dropped a whole brigade in here in the amount of time that they've had to get people across the border. All right, it's 40 minutes past the hour. Traffic and weather together on KYRO.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There's a very heavy backup towards St. Peter's along the westbound side of I-70, approaching Highway 79. That takes you toward Main Street. And you're crawling very heavy there, Lake St. Louis Boulevard, as you head toward the interchange with Highway 61. Now, I-64, that's crawling very heavy going westbound as you head around from Winghaven Boulevard around toward the interchange with I-70. There was a previous accident at that point, but that's been cleared out of the roadway, so everything is open. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy. Getting down to 55 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the upper 80s. Sky is clear likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy it's 75. In Warrenton it's 73 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground. Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Mahomes takes the snap at his right thigh, dumps it over the middle, caught by Kelsey at the 30, spins back up behind Kelsey at the 15-yard line, Kelsey at the 10-5, touchdown, Kansas City!
The Chiefs' 2024 regular season begins Thursday, September 5th, when the Baltimore Ravens come to GEHA Field at Arrowhead. Follow the action all season on your home for Kansas City Chiefs football.
East Central Missouri's News Radio KYRO. Depend on it. M-I-Z.
Being chased to the backside, hit and sack.
S.
Who else but LB3?
T.
To the house from 77.
P.
We put our fist up. We said we're not giving in. We got an elite edge, and we're not going to be denied.
Join us Saturday. Mizzou squares off against the Buffalo Bulls. Our coverage begins at 4 on your home for Mizzou football on East Central Missouri's News Radio KYRO. Depend on it.
This is Kevin Harlan from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and I will wrap up NFL Week 1 action with the Jets at the 49ers. New York awaits the return of Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, while the 49ers hope to kick off a season headed back to the Super Bowl. Join us on Monday Night Football.
NASCAR, Blues, Mizzou, and the Chiefs play here. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. College football, pro football getting underway.
Absolutely.
Blues crank it up in a month. Baseball is coming to a finality.
Yeah.
I was really excited about the Royals, but I mean...
I still am.
They just dropped 6 in a row.
It happens. It happens. But you know what? They've picked up some really good players over the last couple of days.
Cardinals... I don't know what the hell the Cardinals are doing. So,
who knows?
And you can look on our Facebook page, the story. Let me bring it up here real quick. Basically, Mozeliak talking about how, oh, yeah, we know that our product is bad. Well...
If you know it's bad, how about we do something about it?
Okay, so here we are. And this is a quote from Cardinals President GM John Mozeliak. Obviously, our fan base is not happy with our current product. You think?
You think?
Okay, there's more people at an O'Fallon Hoots game than there is at the Cardinal games.
Yeah.
Most recently. And, I it's not just this year. Okay, we've had bad years and the attendance hasn't dropped off. But this is year after year after year.
Yeah.
Where DeWitt and Mozeliak, and I can tell you what's going to happen. The Cardinals rarely, if ever, will fire a head coach in a season. It's just never happens.
Yeah.
Okay. I think they're going to clean house, and I think that includes Mo.
All right. They got to do something.
Yeah, and the bad thing is, yes, they've played bad at times this year. They're still in the playoff hunt right now.
They are.
But the thing of it is, I don't think you can blame this on the manager of the team. I just really think that this organization has made so much money over the years, and they just refuse to spend any of it on talent.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, come around, the end of July for trade deadline area time frames. It's pretty much year after year. John Mozeliak and the Cardinals don't really go out and go after something that can really help and benefit the team. And then, also, what was it, about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, the owner of the Cardinals said that Mozeliak's still going to be around for next year as well. So, again, we're going to see the same thing all over again.
Well, I think it may be a little aforementionative to say that he's going to be around next year. I remember I was at a game like 2 years ago, and this is really when we started to see the decline.
Mm-hmm.
They're year after year, the Cardinals were the best team not to make the playoffs. You know what it really reminded me of is it reminded me of the Big Red back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Because we were always like the best team not to make the playoffs. The same type of practice. Unplug Bill Bidwell and plug in Bill DeWitt.
Yeah.
And, I know that in this area, our little part of the Midwest, it's kind of taboo to say bad things about the Cardinals. But when the Post-Dispatch is doing it, who have normally been the Cardinal apologists over the years,
mm-hmm.
There's problems. And they're almost to White Sox status. White Sox played a Thursday night game last week. The official attendance was 170.
Wow.
Yeah, and it looked like 17.
Wow.
But
that's craziness.
So it's not just in St. Louis, but this is systemic when you just refuse to improve your product.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the point I was making when I was at a game 2 years ago, kind of saw this coming. You saw a steady decline, and you don't notice it on weekends at first because the weekend games are still pretty full, except not lately.
Right.
But when you go on the Thursday night and the Tuesday nights, and you see like less than 10,000 people in Busch Stadium,
mm-hmm.
it's time to go on high alert.
Yeah.
And so I think what it's really rolled over into is this year, season ticket sales are in the dumpster. People are just not going to come out. Can they get the fan base back? I think they probably can. They probably can.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen overnight. They're going to have to show something.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Which is funny because on the flip side of the coin, from the other side of the state, the Royals have been, very bad over the last 10 years since the World Series went in 2015. But they have made steadily improvements, bringing up younger players, keeping them on the team, seeing if they can do something. With the Cardinals, that's kind of the opposite. We'll bring them up for a week or two and then send them right back down. You can't really get anything out of a player if you keep doing that all over, all the time.
Well, I think what you're seeing right now is you're seeing the evidence of, I think the typical Cardinal fan in St. Louis, yes, they're still for the Cardinals. But I think that people kind of universally feel that the only way they can get the ball club's ownership and management's attention is by doing exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
God, we'll just stop coming to the games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think it was last week, Tuesday or Thursday, like you were saying, there was even less than, it was right around about the 5,000 mark as well.
I mean, they're basically giving tickets away right now just to get people in the stands. The bad thing is who it hurts. It doesn't obviously just hurt the team. It hurts the concessions. It hurts all the, bars and restaurants around Busch Stadium. Of course, most of them are gone now because of Ballpark Village.
Right.
That was, I don't know, and I probably offend some people by saying this, but damn it, I'm going to say it anyway. To me, Ballpark Village just represented the greed of the organization. Because when they opened that up, which is basically a super bar type complex, you know, they killed a lot of businesses in downtown St. Louis by doing that.
Yeah.
And, you know, to me, it's like you don't have to make every penny. You know, I'm not so sure that at this point, if the visionaries had seen what was eventually going to happen with this, and we'll talk more about this in our next and final segment, would they have kept that new stadium in downtown St. Louis? I dare say not.
Yeah. I wouldn't think so.
We've got traffic and weather coming up here in just a moment. And what's the temperature right now, buddy?
It is 76 glorious degrees.
76 glorious degrees. All right, let's get a check of traffic and weather.
News Radio KYRO traffic. There's a very heavy backcountry towards St. Peter's along the westbound side of I-70, approaching Highway 79 that takes you toward Main Street. And you're crawling very heavy near Lake St. Louis Boulevard as you head toward the interchange with Highway 61. Now, I-64, that's crawling very heavy going westbound as you head around from Winghaven Boulevard around toward the interchange with I-70. There was a previous accident at that point, but that's been cleared out of the roadway, so everything is open. That's the latest News Radio KYRO traffic. I'm Rick Dixon.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy. Getting down to 55 overnight tonight. Wednesday's high will be in the upper 80s. Sky is clear likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Thursday. Currently in Troy it's 75. In Warrenton it's 73 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground. Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
If you see a down power line, Quiver River Electric reminds you to always assume the line is energized and dangerous. Avoid going near it or anything in contact with the power line. Never drive over a down power line or through water touching the power line. If you see a down power line, notify the local authorities immediately. To learn more, call us at 1-800-392-3709 or visit safeelectric.org. A safety message from Quiver River Electric Cooperative.
All right, let's run down the schedule, Sarge, of what we have going on. It's 51 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock, currently 76 degrees at the studios. Coming up tonight at 7, it's Tiger Talk, live from Columbia with Coach Drink, and that will be on the air from 7 to 8. And then it is our debut presentation of our Tuesday night replay. So what we will do on Tuesday nights, right after Tiger Talk, is we'll replay the high school coverage from the weekend. So that'll give you an opportunity to kind of listen to the games and kind of replay that. I know there's some folks that are pretty excited about that. So that starts tonight. First up, we'll have Troy and Ladue, followed by Winfield and Fort Zumwalt South. Coming up on Thursday night, the NFL season kicks off here on KYRO, 6 o'clock pregame, 7:20 kickoff as the Chiefs will be at home to face the Baltimore Ravens. I knew you were going to do that at some point.
You knew it was coming.
Friday night high school football.
Football.
They're going to play the foosball. They are going to. We're going to have two big games on tap. We are going to have Troy at O'Fallon, Illinois, and then our second game up for the night will be Winfield at Wright City. So two big games coming up. And then Saturday, we have Mizzou football in the afternoon. It's a 4 o'clock pregame. So join us for that. And we also have bonus coverage coming up in 10:30 on Saturday morning. It's college football and our Westwood One college football game of the week. Then on Sunday, it'll be Sunday night football, the Jets and the Packers. And then, I forgot who's on Sunday Night Football, but on Monday night we'll have Jets and Packers.
Is it Jets and Packers or Jets and Niners? I think it's Jets and Niners.
You know what? You're right. It's Jets and Niners. But supposedly, allegedly, sources say that the Jets' little quarterback is going to play.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if he can get through a series of downs.
Yeah, his highlight last year was running out of the tunnel. That was about it for the first game. And it, sad and unfortunate that happened. However, The Jets season will be interesting to see what happens. Primarily, if he goes down from injury again, or the Jets going to come to the realization that perhaps at his age he is just injury prone.
Yep.
Chalk this up to an idea that had merit but turned out to be a bad idea and turn the page. I don't know.
Well, we're going to see. We're definitely going to see what happens.
As a Bears fan, I will not speak his name, but I think everyone knows who we're talking about. But anyway, also, Bears open up. Who they play? They play Sunday at noon, I think.
You know, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to look that up and put it out tomorrow.
But it'll be a dub. It'll be a dub. And I think it's on TV.
Okay.
I think it's on free TV, so we shall see.
Nice.
I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, tons going on. Also, Wednesday night, don't miss Not Politically Correct. That show is, if you listen to it formerly on Saturday mornings, it is now a Wednesday night, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. show. That'll be coming your way from the palatial Gateway Fiber Studios.
Live.
Yes. Actually, that'll be across the hall over at the Traveling East Production Studios, but you can hear it right here on KYRO. Weather, just fantastic. I mean,
it's beautiful out there right now.
Beautiful day today. It's I think tomorrow is supposed to warm up a little bit. We may hit 90.
Mid 80s is what I'm seeing for the projected high, but yeah, you're right. It could reach up to about 90.
But looking towards the weekend, just simply beautiful. If you're going to go to the Mizzou game, you're going to take in some of the outdoor activities in the area, and there's a lot of them going on. This should be a prime weekend for that. And, of course, this week is Bike Fest at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking for Saturday, we've got projected high of 72, and then on Sunday, 75. So it's going to be very nice out.
It's going to be – that's a little –
it's a little – compared to what we've been getting, that's a little brisk.
I know some people that are going to call that a tad bit on the chilly side. I won't mention any names, but I know some people that will probably complain about that. That's kind of just like San Diego weather, and we'll take that. That'd be the best job in the world, to be a weatherman in San Diego.
Absolutely.
Nothing ever really happens.
Nah, not really.
Today, sunny and 71. Tomorrow, sunny and 71. Oh, on Thursday, we're going to be sunny and 72.
Ooh, it's a heat wave.
Yeah, it would be kind of boring. But we also have a big event going on over at the Wrestling Arena.
Yes, we do. So last week at this time, or I should say last month at this time, coming up to an event, the event sold out, and then some tickets were put together and put out that Friday before the event, and those got sold out. So we've got an event coming up this Saturday over at the Race Wrestling Arena. Don't wait around and wait till day of to get your tickets, because you may miss out. Get them right now, HarleyRace.com.
So, HarleyRace.com. That a big event coming up this weekend on Saturday night over in Troy. So don't miss that.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great time.
It is going to be a lot of fun. So we've got about 3 minutes in front of the hour coming up here in just a moment. We'll have another check of traffic right before we kick it off to the 6 o'clock hour. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. Ribbit.
Ribbit.
Man, what was that? I just took a drink of coffee. I think it went down the wrong pipe.
Could have.
But no, we've got Bill O'Reilly coming up next from the No Spin Zone, then Tiger Talk at 7, and the Tuesday night double play replay, and that will come your way at 8 o'clock.
Fun night.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun night, and I know we've had a lot of requests in the off season to pick a night during the week when we can play back those games. Honestly, Tuesday night's the best night to do it.
Yeah,
and because you have minimal interruptions. You're not going to have an NFL interruption. You're not going to have a college football interruption.
True.
It's just a good night to do the replays. Monday night's kind of out. You got Monday Night Football going on. So Tuesday night's good night. To just kind of kick back, relax, and listen to some high school football that you maybe didn't hear on the radio because you were at the game.
That's what I was about to say myself.
So we'll do that, and that'll be tonight. Also, don't forget tomorrow on KYRO, News Radio 105.3, 1280, we will have NPC at 7. non-politically correct. That's going to be a loaded show. I'm sure it's going to be full of things dealing with the situation with the congressional investigations, also the situation in Israel, and other tomfoolery that we can expect to have on the air tomorrow night.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see and hear what C.T. Harrison, Andrew Dodd, and Lee Thompson have to say about these different subjects going on.
I'll be on assignment elsewhere tomorrow. Sarge will take the helm with the special guest.
That's right.
And I'll be back in the saddle on Thursday to continue our tradition of Newswatch Late Edition.
It's a special day Thursday. Kansas City Chiefs open up against the Baltimore Ravens.
Coming up on 6 o'clock in the Heartland, and we'd like to thank you for tuning in today from the Gateway Fiber Studios, Newswatch Late Edition. Have a great evening, everyone.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 6 o'clock in the Heartland.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Tom Graham. The Justice Department announcing criminal charges today against Hamas leader